Welcome to DC Music Rocks. The Washington, D.C. region has one of the best local music scenes in the country. We're shining a spotlight on its great songs and incredible people. Tune in, jam on, rock out. I'm your host, Brian Nelson Palmer, and with me today is Marielle Kraft.
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
It is so awesome that you're here.
I'm so excited to be here.
This is cool.
Looking forward to this.
What now? If they've never heard of you, how would you describe yourself?
I am a independent singer-songwriter. I sound, similar to artists like Taylor Swift, Shawn Mendes, Colby Calais, Sarah Bareilles, John Mayer. And I am a girl with a guitar, but I tell pretty raw stories and love to connect with people.
That's cool. I like that. That's like the perfect little soundbite. It's a girl with a guitar, and I like to connect with people.
Yeah.
It's so good. Well, thanks for being here. This is really cool that you're here.
Happy to be here.
On our show today, we'll start with the news from the DC music scene, and then we have great music by DC artists to share with you today, and then a very special interview with Marielle. Two quick reminders as we get started. One, subscribe to the DC Music Rocks podcast, and please take a moment to share us with someone you know who loves music. Most all of our more than 11,000 followers have come through word of mouth and from your shares, literally from you telling your friends, texting your friends, and that stuff. So thank you so much for passing the word about us on to others. And two, sign up for the email list. Every week, we're finding and sharing all these events, this news, these guests, and this great music. Let us email it to you so you don't have to go looking for it every week. Now, first up, let's talk about news. And in news, it's the world of new releases. Remember, all these are available right now from wherever you get your music online. So links to their profiles in your notes right now, the links to their profiles with their iTunes and Spotify links are there in your notes, so you can listen, and their website, Facebook are there for more info if you want it. First up, Marielle Kraft released a 9-song full album, kind of a grunge blues vibe, and it's called 3. And
fun fact, isn't this your band, Brian?
I was going to say, this is my band.
Yeah, it is.
We have been working on this record for 3 years, and it is finally live. So guys, I can't tell you how awesome it is that I finally get to share this stuff with you. So we're recommended if you like, thanks.
Yeah, you got it.
I finally did it. We finally did it.
So proud of you.
Recommended if you like Foo Fighters, The Black Keys, Red Hot Chili Peppers, or Soundgarden, you might love my band Marielle Kraft. So I hope you check out that new album.
Check
the link
it out.
is in your notes. Also, The Mirror released Shed, which is a 15-song indie album. They're recommended if you like amplified guitar. Think PJ Harvey, Queens of the Stone Age, or the Cranberries. You might love The Mirror. Babbling April released Country House. It's an indie single. It's recommended if you like Yellow Tango, Built to Spill, or the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. Check that one out. I've been rocking to it this week. Color Palette released Sunburn, which is kind of an indie electro-pop single. They're recommended if you like Depeche Mode, The Smiths, or M83. Love that single by Color Palette. Denmate released Zoso, which is an indie rock single. They're recommended if you like the Yeah Yeah Yeahs or Portishead. Check out Denmate. That's their second single. They must have an album coming out because they've been teasing me with these singles.
Oh, they've got it.
It's got to be one of those. And then Teddy Shaporis released Prior to Rain, which is a folk vibe single. He's recommended if you like the Avett Brothers, Lumineers, Dawes, or Mumford & Sons. Check out Teddy Shaporis. It's got a nice vibe on that one. And then A King Called Pedro released Zoe Saldana. It's a bonus track. It's a hip hop single. So if you like hip hop, check that out. And it's a bonus track. He released a commentary album where he gives you the commentary on one of his previous albums, but then he also released one music track at the end. And so I've been loving the music track. So I hope you check those out. All of those are linked in your episode notes. So check those out because just so much good music all landed this week. It's been a great week.
Incredible.
And speaking of new music now, Marielle, I know you got new music. Talk to us. What's happening?
I do. Yeah. Just a couple weeks ago, I came out with a brand new single on August 24th. It's called Test Drive.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
It's my first single in about a year.
Okay.
It's a launch into my new path of pursuing music. It's a pop indie single, and it hits a little harder than my other singles, which is fun for jamming in the car and stuff like that. But yeah, it's been doing really well, and I'm here to talk about it too, and I hope you like it too.
Yeah, we're going to play it for you here in a little bit. So we don't just have to talk about it now, we can play it for you too.
Fantastic.
Because that's, I've been jamming to it all week really loud in the car. So
yes,
I'm excited everybody else now gets to do it loud in the car, which is really cool.
Turn it up.
So now in the last update, what shows are you going to see this week? We spend hours each week sifting through the upcoming shows to share the ones that sound awesome. Check this episode's notes right now for our hottest picks for the week. We put them right in there. Remember that our website, dcmusicrocks.com, features DC's only live music calendar, which is exclusively for local artists. So you can visit the calendar anytime for the full list of all your options. And we hope you find time to go see some live and local music around DC this week. And in the world of upcoming shows, Marielle, talk about you. What's happening? There's a tour. You got all kinds of stuff. What's going on?
Lots of stuff is coming up. First of all, I think it's so cool you guys put up the local music things happening. I've actually used it before to check out some shows, so that's a really cool resource.
Awesome.
But personally, for me, I'm in a little bit of a lull for the next couple weeks because I'm gearing up for my next big tour. So I will be, I'm going to be heading back up to the Northeast region for a couple weeks in October, which does include DC. So I will be in DC on, let's think, October 25th. Yep, the 25th. I'll be at DC 9.
Sweet.
Super cool. Yeah, super cool venue. I'll be there with a band called Hey Ocean, which are super awesome musicians. But yeah, so I'll be there, and tickets are available if anybody wants to check it out. That's October 25th at DC 9.
That's awesome. And where else in this tour are you going to be headed? Like all over the Northeast, a little bit everywhere?
Definitely all over. I went on my first ever little Northeast tour in June, and I was there for about a week, hit a couple major cities for the first time. And so when I go back, it'll be twice as long. So I grew up in Rhode Island. So the Northeast is familiar to me. I call that home. So I'm heading back up there. I'm doing Rhode Island, like Providence, Boston, hitting Vermont for the first time, which should be really cool.
Nice.
Definitely New York City. I'm going to hit Philly, Delaware, and then DC. And I'm actually going to head down to Raleigh as well and Asheville, North Carolina, to squeeze those in too.
Nice. And that's a total of what, a couple of months, or how long is that?
It'll be 2.5 weeks. And this will be the,
I was like, 2.5 months.
Just a couple
you can
weeks.
Count those days on fingers and toes. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. Yeah.
We'll be efficient. We'll be traveling almost every day, which will be awesome. But last time I went out on tour, I was solo. And this time I'm going to be bringing out a couple bandmates, which should be a really cool new element. I'm excited to take them to new places too.
All right, bringing the band on tour.
That's right.
I love it. All right, guys. Well, we've been talking for a little bit, so now let's jump into some music. And the first track of the day, I get to share my new album because it's the new album is called 3. But the reason I want to share it with you is because on this album, I got to collaborate with other awesome local artists. We did some collaborations, and I want to share those with you because these guys are awesome. So this first one, it ends up being kind of a go-go vibe. This is Marielle Kraft featuring the awesome rapper. There's a profile in dcmusicrocks.com for him. You can check him out there. His name is Artemis, and this is our track off the new album called That's That.
DC Music Rocks. Great jams to hear by artists from here.
See you out there on the platform, you're leaning left, you're looking right. Wondering if that day on the end, without you having to get in a fight, and you would tell me the boss man, he gave you the blues. You spilled coffee on your brand new shoes. Now I march to the beat of my home drum, and I go home when my day is done, and that's that. That's that, ha-ha. They're out there in the barrooms, they're riding on all them big white walls. Your boss on your back, the train's off the track, it's 8 cars behind, and I know that you ain't got time to be waiting around one more time. On the red line. No way, no way, no way. Now I march to the beat of my own drum, and I go home when my day is done, and that's that. Ha-ha, yeah. Artemis. Extrovert tendencies, introvert emphasis, party clan clemency. 3 stars on my sleeve, stripes elsewhere that you won't believe. What else? Real estate hard to achieve when the watch over nearby won't concede. Don't shine no shoes, came from the south to rhyme those blues. What up? I got IOUs and I know yous, keep my wins cause I won't lose. Aim blow with anguish, newcomers can't decode the language. Yeah. Show a painting of what the night looks like. Drunks make the bars, keep the books nice. New neighbors moved in shouting cuss words, cause the city ain't quiet with the suburbs. You can fear I'm lying, it's not DC if you don't hear the sirens. I'm not saying it twice. Marion Barry, mayor for life. True. If you don't like it, you can leave. Berry Farms ain't for sale, let them keep the D's. Develop some sense, mama sauce on the wing, show it gets intense. When you're out there on your street, baby, with your dancing shoes on your feet,
You're the apple of the nation's eye. I'm busting loose just 6 miles wide. We got Go-Go, the lucky so-and-so, Chuck B, Dave G, and the Big Tony, Funky Trouble Show. Yeah. We march to the beat of our own drums. We go home when our day is done, and that's that. And that's that.
There it is, Marielle Kraft, and that's the song That's That, and that features Artemis. And I want to talk about Artemis. Most of you guys know me because I'm with you each week, but Artemis is an awesome rapper in the scene. He was a guest on the show back in the day. So if you can actually go back, if you check out his profile on dcmusicrocks.com, you can click his name in your episode notes and you'll see the episode is referenced there. So you can actually go back and catch the interview with him. We had him on the show. He's been compared to Ice Cube, Jay-Z, that Hieroglyphics. And if you haven't heard of him, it's almost like a mix between that and the Gorillaz. But he's going on a tour. He's got a tour coming up, and he's always shows. The reason we were so excited to work with him is because we've also seen him on stage with so many people. He actually he jumped up on stage randomly to rap with us 4 years ago, and it was and we never forgot that.
That's
so
awesome.
when we were talking about the rapper for this one, it's like, let's try a song. Why not have somebody rap? We got a song that's a go-go vibe. That's what That is all about. Local. It's about the DC scene and what it's like to live in DC. It's like, why not have a rapper come in? It's got a go-go vibe. Let's do that. And
love it.
First guy was like, hey, let's do Artemis. So Artemis, thanks for being on this. Thanks for being on this. I hope you check out more from him, and of course, check out the album 3. Now, I have Marielle with me on the show, and my favorite way to introduce my musical guests is to play their music. And she was just talking about the album, not the album, excuse me, the single that just dropped literally 3 weeks ago from when we were recording this.
That's right.
So I enjoy it because and listen to the words too, because I want to talk about that a little bit. This
Okay,
is
cool.
Test Drive.
DC Music rocks.
Let you take the lead until it's muscle memory. No more need for me. I was your test drive. Teach you all the ways that you make mistakes. I was your first try. I showed you real love till you got your confidence up. Now she's your joyride. I was your test drive. Taking me far away, too consumed with the views. Don't forget who's next to you. Now you're up so high, you gotta fall before you fly. Now you're telling me goodbye. I was your test drive. Teach you all the ways that you make mistakes. I was your first try. I showed you real love till you got your confidence up. Now she's your joyride. I was your test drive. Well, little did I know she was hiding in the back seat. Yeah, little did I know she was hiding in the back seat. Well, little did you know I took a match to the gasoline. Little did you know I took a match to the gasoline. Oh, so now you're going up in smoke. I hope you're happy. I was your test drive. I was your test drive. I was your test drive. Teach you all the ways that you make mistakes. I was your first try. I showed you real love till you got your confidence up. Now she's your joyride. I was your test drive. So now it's good.
Test Drive by Marielle Kraft. And man, I love that single.
Thank
Good gracious. It's good.
I do too.
And
Thank
talk
you.
about that. So now that was the inspiration or thought for that was that it was, you say, I'll be your test drive. What are you talking about?
So essentially, a few years ago, I was in a relationship where it felt pretty unequal. I think it was the first time that this person had been in a serious relationship, and we were kind of navigating those waters together. And it felt like a lot of times I had to teach this person how to be in a healthy relationship. So, you know, I'd be like, hey.
So you're the test drive.
Right. So then they took all my advice and then applied it to somebody new. So now this girl.
I'm not laughing. That's awful,
like
actually.
It's fine. I know.
Okay.
So now because they're still dating. 3 years later, it's fine.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, I guess it was successful. I must have really taught him well.
I was going to say you a very good test drive.
You're welcome.
Clearly.
You're welcome for your happiness. Yeah. So she's now the joyride, and I guess I was the test drive.
And you're the test drive.
Yeah.
There we go. So when you go back, listen to that one again and check out all those lyrics about being a test drive.
Hear my teenage angst in there.
I get it now. That is so cool. All right. Well, let me give you a proper introduction and let's interview you here. So on DC Music Rocks, we're shining a spotlight on the great songs, artists, and incredible people behind the DC region's music scene. Marielle Kraft is a singer-songwriter who laces honest stories together through clever lyrics with catchy melodies, drawing influence from artists like Shawn Mendes, Taylor Swift, and John Mayer. Mm-hmm. Since the ripe old age of 18, her songs have been known to bring people together, a room of strangers through laughter, reflection, and maybe a few welcome tears every once in a while. I mean, Test Drive, my God, it's an influence. I feel the inspiration on, I got it. Tears, good. And her latest powerful single, we just played it for you and talked about it, Test Drive, was released in August of 2018. And she's here and she's going on tour and she's doing all kinds of crazy things. And first time I came across her was with the episode with Eli Lev. If you go back and listen to Eli Lev's episode, he said, hey, listen, because all the guests bring artists with him. And he's like, hey, let's play Marielle. Never heard of Marielle. Marielle's awesome. And now she's here with me. So this is cool. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, Eli's the man. He's one of those people who is very well connected around here. And he kind of took me under his wing when I moved here about a year ago. And he has just been so supportive. And the fact that he, brought me to DC Music Rocks, I couldn't be more grateful. So shout out to Eli. Thank you so much. And his new single, Chasing Daylight, I don't know if you've heard it. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Definitely check that out if you have time. That's Chasing Daylight by Eli Lev.
Yep. It's we've got a Spotify playlist if you're one of those people with all these new releases that we share every week. Mm-hmm. So you can check it out there because it's on there as well. We talked about it last week because I've been rocking to it too.
Yeah, so good.
Now, you said you just moved here. Talk a little bit about DC and how you ended up in DC.
Sure. Yeah. So about a year ago, I moved to Southern Maryland, a town called La Plata, which is about 40 minutes south of DC. And I was a full-time teacher. So I moved here for a teaching job in Charles County.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, okay. I was a sixth grade English teacher. Yeah. Right, exactly. It was awesome. I mean, every day was an adventure, to say the least.
Absolutely.
And these little, malleable 12-year-olds became like my best friends for a year. But they definitely taught me a lot and I taught them a lot. And it was an incredible year, very rewarding, very challenging. But it kind of came to a point where my music opportunities were arising faster than I could sort of take hold of them, and momentum was shifting, and I didn't want to pass so many of these things up. But a full-time teaching career isn't very conducive to gigging all the time.
True.
Yeah, I would teach all day during the week and then travel almost every weekend with shows. And although that's the Hannah Montana double life dream, it truly is not sustainable. So I had to make a decision at the end of the school year, and I decided to step away from teaching for the indefinite future and see where music will take me.
That is really cool. And I mean, I'm grateful that you stepped away because I've been loving the music. So the fact that you're doing this full time now is like, oh my God, more music. Yes,
and now
this
more
is good.
Absolutely. And I can go on tour and I can see more people. And I think that it'll be an incredible adventure for sure.
Absolutely. God, that is really cool. And now you talk about your earliest memory with music.
My really very earliest memory with
music?
music?
That's what I want. Yes,
okay.
all the way back.
I haven't talked
Take
about this in a very long time. Wee old ripe age of 8 in I actually was living around Towson at the time in Lutherville, Maryland, and I didn't know that I could carry a tune, but my young elementary music teacher, Mr. Allman, he saw that in me. So he was like, hey, I think you should audition for the school talent show. So at the time, I was jamming to Sound of Music. That was like my heart song. And so I chose My Favorite Things as the song I would audition with, I learned how to play like 4 notes on the piano, but I couldn't sing and play piano. So I just played the piano, got up, and then sang without the piano. And I forgot like half the words on stage and was mortified, and then finished the song and then like cried, in the back of the classroom. And that was definitely my earliest traumatic memory with music. Things got better, definitely.
I was going to say, now you're performing and going on tour, so clearly you're not forgetting words, and it's come a long way. It toughened
me up, though. It gave me built some character, I guess. But I'll never forget, the first time ever being on stage, so vulnerable at 8 years old, forgetting all the words to my favorite things, which ironically was my favorite song. So how do I forget the words? Great question.
Wow, there it is. Well, stage fright is a thing.
It is.
Still to this day.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know about you, but for me, I get up there and sometimes it's a little anxious, even though we've done this so many times now. But still, you want everybody to love it. And
someone once told me one time that if you still have stage fright and you still get a little nervous, it shows that you care. And the second you become numb to that feeling, it means that it's not impacting you the way it should anymore. So I don't shy away too much from fear on stage, although a little bit of healthy fear puts pressure on, so it makes you play better sometimes. But I haven't had quite as aggressive an experience as when I was 8.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
While we're on the topic of music, what's one thing in your music collection that might surprise us?
I've been into Kendrick Lamar lately, which is the opposite of my music taste.
I was going to say, Test Drive and the song we just heard is totally opposite of Kendrick Lamar, but that's awesome.
I've been on a kick with him because I went to Firefly Music Festival back in June. I actually gave a TED Talk there, which was an incredible experience. Yeah, they have like a TED Talk program that happens at Firefly, and they bring in people in the industry or upcoming people or whatever. And I was able to give a TEDx talk about songwriting, and it was
cool. Can people find this online? Is
absolutely,
it one of those?
Yeah, you can go on
YouTube?
Absolutely on YouTube, like the TEDx YouTube page. It's if you scroll down, it was TEDx Dover because it was Dover, Delaware, and then if you search my name in TEDx Dover, it should come up, and it's called Songwriting, the Art of Being Honest with Yourself. And it talks about how, songwriting these days really needs to be vulnerable because social media has broken down so many of the barriers between artist and fan. And, now we can do like Facebook Live, Instagram Live, like basically you can DM/text artists and you want to become friends essentially with this artist. And so in songwriting, I really feel like that vulnerability and that transparency needs to translate into our lyrics too, so that people really know me and not this facade I'm trying to put up. So I was, speaking about that and played one of my songs, and it was an incredible experience. I mean, come on, like who gets to do that?
Right. I mean, Firefly Music Festival and a TEDx talk. This is one of those bucket list items. Check.
Right.
Yep.
It was funny. I taught the morning in school and then got in the car and drove to Firefly and then spoke at a TEDx, at the TEDx event. And I was like, what is the life that I'm living right now? See ya, kids. I'm going to go give a TED Talk at Firefly. Who does that? So yeah, that was a really memorable day for sure. But I saw Kendrick at Firefly is where I was going with that. And he was so captivating on stage. And I listened to, his singles before then, but then I definitely started listening to more of his deep cuts. And I'm so impressed by his artistry. He is definitely one to be raw and real. So I appreciate him so much for that.
Wow. Inspiration from the most interesting places.
Absolutely.
It comes from everywhere. It really
it does.
is. I mean, I've got a go-go. I'm in a grunge blues band and I've got a go-go song on my album.
Exactly.
I mean, yes, it comes from everywhere, but it has an impact. Now talk about you on the personal side. So hobbies, what do you do outside of music?
Outside of music, I recently my roommate and I, we went to the thrift store. We bought $1 tennis rackets because there's a tennis court a short walk from our place. And we've just been finding ourselves hitting around a tennis ball that we found in the woods lately. Not a tennis star by any means, but I was very inspired by Serena's recent, whole thing with the media of her not getting the recognition she deserves and how she's being treated unfairly with being a woman and whatever. So I was like, maybe I can become a tennis star. So that's my new pursuit. Other than that, I do a lot of travel, love to travel. Just last week, you know how some people scroll through Instagram in their spare time? I scroll through the app Kayak because that's all the cheap flights,
Absolutely.
So
Explore. Have you ever used the Explore feature on
all
Kayak?
The time. All the time. You set your
good.
budget, you set the distance. I'm like, man, I got 48 hours. Where can I go? I do it probably more than I should. And so last week that brought me to Wisconsin, flew out there to Madison for 2 days. One of my,
by yourself or friend there or? So
yeah, one of my roommates from college works in Madison now. And I've been trying to go out and see her. And, it was a random like deal of the week. And I was like, should I leave tomorrow? Yep. And so I essentially bought a ticket, hopped on a plane with another one of my friends who was also down to be spontaneous. And we went out to Madison for a couple of days. Yeah.
That is so cool. All right. The Kayak Explorer.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, man. And by the way, if you didn't know about this, for those who don't know, if you go on kayak.com, Kayak is one of those sites that you can search for flights and stuff. Mm-hmm. And they have a feature on there called Explore, or in the app. I think you can get it on the app too.
That's where I found it.
It's called Explore. And what you do is you set your home location, and then it tells you can move around the map and you can see how much it costs to fly anywhere from DC. So you can browse around. Like if you want to do, what's your budget? What's like you said, the time and whatever. And here's all these places you could go. So I know in the DC area, there's so many people with the travel bug. So if you have
so many airports, there's so many options. That's the best part.
So true. You can set your home area for WAS for the Washington area, and you're golden.
Exactly.
So I love it. Anyway, so back to you now. So funniest moment that comes to mind from being on stage.
From being on stage. Okay, so have you heard of the organization called So Far Sounds?
Of course, absolutely.
Great, love So Far. DC So Far was the first exposure I had to So Far, and so I.
Oh, and if you don't know what So Far Sounds is, I hope you go to sofarsounds.com and check it out, because it's like songs from a room. So
exactly,
far,
SOFAR.
Songs from a room, and it's like a very up close and personal, little intimate, almost like a house show or something, but it's right up close and personal. They just tell you the day before where you're supposed to go, and you don't know who the artist is, and you don't know where you're going until the day before, and then you go see a show. It's kind of
very exclusive.
Yeah.
It's very cool. You feel like you're a part of a really secret society when you're there.
Absolutely.
So I played a So Far Sounds DC show back in April, and then got the So Far bug, because how can you not? It's such an incredible idea. So I've been able to be, fortunate enough to play a lot of So Fars around the country now, because I travel so much. And
you're always around, and you could pick up a show wherever you are.
I've played like So Far Atlanta, So Far Orlando, and these different places where I wouldn't have a draw of the 70 people that they bring to my show.
Right.
So it's such an incredible piece of exposure for upcoming artists. But what's so memorable about that is just a couple of weeks ago, I played So Far Long Island for the first time. And the director of So Far Long Island, his name is Craig. He is so full of life and so full of energy, and so in tune to when you're playing, very, very attentive, and the whole room follows his lead. So I was playing this song I have called Box, and it's definitely like the gut punch tearjerker song of like the breakup of the century, like we all have. It's like the All Too Well from Taylor Swift, but it's like the Box from Marielle Kraft, So I was playing this song, and I'm so used to the audience reacting in a way that is pretty silent, and like, people wiping a couple tears in the back, like whatever, or like looking down the whole time because they're remembering their breakup, whatever. And it was so strange, because I was playing this song, and there's a line, that is supposed to like really hit you hard in the end of the first chorus. And Craig just goes, "Oh, same!" like screaming in the middle of the room. And the whole crowd just cracks up. And that was the first time I'd ever felt like a light sense of joy in this song of like heartbreak. And I had to actually stop playing the song for a moment, and we just all laughed, and I was like, that has never happened before. And he was like, I wasn't even trying to laugh. That really got me on that line, and I totally feel you. So it was so cool to turn such a sad song into like this moment of laughter for all of us too. Yeah, it was awesome.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
Very cool. Now, my favorite question to ask on every week, I always love to ask it, and that is, if you could offer one piece of advice, what would it be?
I would say that one piece of advice, I didn't make it up, but one that's really stuck with me in the last season of my career is, it's kind of a twofold piece of advice. The first is, nothing will work until you do, and nothing will change until you do.
Oh, say more on that.
Yeah. So for me, what that's meant is, if I'm getting the same results with people coming to my shows, like, the same number of people, or I'm getting the same number of steady streams every week, and it's not growing in any way that is impressive, it's not going to change unless I make a change. It's not just going to magically happen one day. I mean, sure, that happens once in a blue moon where Spotify puts you on a playlist and it explodes. But realistically, like, you have to make a specific strategic change in order to build a fan base, in order to get more streams, in order to make better music. So for me, constantly reminding myself that in order to get better, it has to come from an intentional choice of my own. So the whole nothing will change until you do, this music thing is not going to work until you work your butt off to make sure it does, has been really incredible motivation for me. And that's the piece of advice I can offer.
There it is. One little piece at a time, one little change at a time, and then don't stop evolving and changing. That's it. Mm-hmm. It's what is it? Rome wasn't built in a day, or like that kind of thing.
Exactly.
It's like, a little bit at a time. Just keep that momentum going, right?
Yeah. And yesterday I was actually speaking to another artist of one of my friends who's in a band called the Vaughns from New Jersey, and the lead singer, Anna, told me this piece of advice. She said, it used to be one major break will make your career. And now the music industry has changed and it's so many little breaks. And so just with that piece of advice is like, just because you have one little break doesn't mean anything's going to change. Yeah. So it's pushing forward through that third break, through that fourth break to find something that sticks for sure.
That's it. Very good. Love those words of advice. I like it. All right. And one more time for those folks who if they want to find out more about you and the cool stuff you're doing and all the stuff that's happening with Marielle, where do they go?
They can go to my website, which is mariellekraft.com. That's MARIELLE, Kraft with a K, KRAFT, like the mac and cheese.
Like the Mac. You are the Mac.
I know.
The Mac Kraft.
The Mac. That's right.
Okay.
So mariellekraft.com. And then all of my social media is just my name, Marielle Kraft. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you want to go, I will be there.
That is cool. Very good. Now, we've been talking for a little bit, and one of the things about being a guest on the show is you have to bring great music with you.
Yes.
So Marielle has done just that. So let's jump into another song. Let's go back to some music here. What do you have for us first?
So first up, I have this song called Desire. It's a total jam. It's by a band called Virginia Man.
DC Music rocks. Tune in, jam on, rock out.
I feel as though we have faded. Darling, I walked 11th Avenue before. I feel these bullets we traded have dropped more copper folk that we've ignored. I see the fading line between love and what has broken all of our younger minds. Can we stop wasting life? We walk through the fire, dance to the flame, and I've lost our desire to care about your name. You sought to eat with the monsters and walked before them in the corridors. Look at yourself in the mirror. You're smoking fear and drunk on insecure. You see right through my lies. The door to all my death is open. We're headed for demise. Can we stop wasting life? We walk through the fire, dance to the flame, and I've lost our desire to care about your name. Flesh and blood on these broken bones, and I'll walk on down to the end of time. Make moving breath from this heart of stone, and I'll love my way to the other side. Put flesh and blood on these broken bones, and I'll walk on down to the end of time. Make moving breath from this heart of stone, and I'll love my way to the other side. We walk through the fire, dance to the flame, and I've lost our desire to care about
was Virginia Man, and the track is Desire. And that's the album title, if you're looking it up, is Desire as well. And these guys, so apparently they're changing. Like, I love that vibe. That was so good. But talk about them, Marielle.
Yeah, they're so good. We became friends a while ago. We've done a few shows together in the DC area. And they're an incredible band, but they have, had new inspiration to rebrand, and they're going to move in a new direction with a new name, actually, that they just announced, which is so exciting for them. It's a new band. Instead of Virginia Man, they're going to be called Lefty, with 2 Fs, Leffty.
Oh.
I know.
Okay. All right. Lefty.
Right. And they, I was talking to Christian, who's the lead singer. We played a show together a couple weeks ago, and backstage he was telling us, about this whole new transition for them coming up. And they're so excited about it because they have so much music that they now find most of their truth in that they haven't been able to share because it's not the same vibe as Virginia Man. And he said it's going to be a little more dancey, a little bit more like hip-hoppy a little bit. So it should be really cool to see their next chapter.
That's cool. So I have a profile for them. If you go to dcmusicrocks.com or you check out the episode notes, you can click on their name and it'll take you to their profile so you can find out more about Virginia Man. But then, of course, if you go to their social media and stuff, you'll obviously find this new project Lefty, too.
Yeah.
That's an easy way to find it, or Leffty.
That's right.
Had no idea.
They just announced
news.
it. Breaking
news
on
right
DC
here.
Music Rocks.
That's it.
You are first to hear it.
There it is. You heard it here first. I love it. That is really cool. All right. Well, I've got another one. Actually, I want to share one with you because we were talking. I was looking at, I always have artists that I need to play and that I haven't played on the show yet. And so I was going through the list, and there was another singer-songwriter that if you haven't heard her, I can't wait for you to hear her, Marielle, because I've been really enjoying her music. So this is Mackenzie Fisher.
Cool.
And the track is Picture Man.
DC Music Rocks.
Picture man, play me a slide on the screen. Through those old dusty films, find the remnants of me. Start playing the tape. Show me what I have missed. And I'll sit in the back, pretend I'm next to you, where we sat to get close to the wonderful view. Our hands were numb, said you wouldn't let go of me. Ooh. Picture man, can we play this film along? Did I miss the scene, or did I just see it wrong? Can we rewind? at me in my bright summer dress that I put in a box and never wore again.
Wow.
There it is. Mackenzie Fisher, and the track is Picture Man, and that's off her album Of the Earth. And she's kind of it's a recommended if you like reference, if you like Birdie or Christina Perri or Nora Jones, Colby Calais, like that's kind of her vibe. And man, so like I heard your song and then it was like, man, if you haven't heard Mackenzie, because I'd never heard Mackenzie until a few weeks ago when I found out about her. And it's like, well, then you guys, man, there's a pairing right there. Holy
I can't believe
smokes.
I haven't heard of her. She is so good. Holy moly, that songwriting was phenomenal too. I need to reach out. Mackenzie, I'm coming for you. We're going to hang. We're going to play a show together.
Yes. I mean, she's been playing in DC for 7 years now. She currently lives in Arlington. And fun facts about her, she competed with college a cappella group in ICCAS.
Oh,
which
yeah, that's that
imagine
Pitch Perfect thing,
the
right?
Pitch Perfect competition.
Yeah, that's awesome.
it. So for the past 3 years, and she can beatbox,
Girl,
apparently.
get out of here. Full of talent.
And by the way, interesting fact also, Jam and Java out in Vienna, they have an annual thing called Kloster F. We can't say it on the radio, but for 4 years now, so many of the DC's top musicians have been there. And so she's been there apparently for the last 4 years doing that.
Get out of here.
And she's apparently also an ugly sweater collector. So she has
We're
thrift
gonna be
store
friends.
finds
I
for
can't
every
wait.
holiday. This is absolutely. So
Thrift store tennis rackets, thrift store sweaters.
Right,
We're
I
a
was gonna
perfect
say
match. It's perfect.
little did you know we're doing singer-songwriter matchmaking on DC Music Rocks.
Yes, incredible.
Thank you very much. I'm brushing my shoulder off right now.
Good
this
work.
is good. Excellent. So that was Mackenzie Fisher. I hope I have a profile for her, so I hope you check out more from her and her music, because if you like that vibe, she's got a lot more in that collection. So check out more from her. Now, we've got one more song, but before we do that, I want to wrap up. And here's what I love. Marielle, I love that you gave the teaching thing up and you just went for it, and you're trying the music thing, and you're, like you said, you're doing little steps and you're trying without failing, or regardless of failure, you're just going to keep trying a little different and a little more and a little different. And now there's a tour, and now there's bandmates going on the tour. And it's so cool that I feel like on this show, we get to see a little snapshot of where you are in time as your career. And it's really cool to get to see you at this stage and doing what you're doing. And I love the music that you're making. So thanks for being here with us today.
Thank you. Thanks for giving people like me an outlet to do that. That's incredible. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. And one more time, if they want to find out more about you and all the stuff you have going on, where do they go?
Yes. My website has everything, which is just mariellekraft.com. But I'm also all over social media, Spotify, iTunes, all under the name Marielle Kraft.
You got it. And in your episode notes, we'll have all that linked for you too,
Absolutely.
so you can check it there. And listeners, I play drums for the DC rock band Fellowcraft. And since I am a DC musician, I consider it a treat to share these guests like Marielle and this great music from right here in DC with you each week. So just imagine some of these people live right around the corner from you, like they're here. And remember, this isn't just a show. We have resources for you too. On DCMusicRocks.com, you have access to a DC artist database to help you find more DC artists you'll love. There's more than 400 in there for you to check out. There's a calendar to help you attend these great shows happening all over the DC area every day. And there's playlists full of music by DC artists for you to enjoy. So the bottom line is, I want to say thanks. Thanks for following DC's music. Thanks for supporting DC's musicians.
Thank you.
And most importantly, thanks for listening. Now, next week, I've got another great show coming for you. So check back in every week. We've got something new. And now we've got one more song, and this is Heather May. And I love Heather May.
Oh, I love
my
Heather
God.
May.
Talk
We're
about
about to
Heather
geek
May.
out right now about Heather May.
Yes, talk about Heather
gosh,
May.
She's the best. I didn't know about Heather May until last summer, so summer 2017. I was playing an all-female music festival in Delaware called the Ladybug Festival. Which
I think I heard about that.
Yeah, it's an incredible, progressive idea that it's all female-fronted bands who make up this festival. So Heather May played last year, and I was also on the lineup, and I was able to catch a bunch of other musicians. So I bumped into her, and she completely blew me away. She's just, this commanding, beautiful woman and her piano, and she's banging on the piano and singing and like completely filling the room, and everyone's like singing along. And I was like, who is this magical creature? She is unbelievable. So I talked to her a little bit after the show and told her that I was moving down to the DC area last year. And immediately she was like, it's going to be tough, but you're going to make your way, and don't be afraid to take up space, which is one of the coolest pieces of advice I've ever been given. And she's like, you as a woman in the industry do have a place, and you need to make sure you own it. And we haven't been able to link up or play a show since then, but I do follow her quite closely, and she's got so much positive positivity to give to the world. She's a social justice warrior and body positive, female empowerment kind of voice that is so needed right now, especially. And some of her songs are the most uplifting and encouraging songs that you can just yell out to in your car or in your home. And I cannot wait for everyone to hear this. If you haven't, she's got this song called I Am Enough, and it is so amazing. It's so good.
I mean, we're going to play it. And I want to mention that I just saw the other day that she announced her tour. She's going on tour in October.
That's right.
So she'll be like all over the area, Chicago, Charlotte, down to Asheville. She'll be in Richmond, Ohio. She's headed up to New York. So you can check out, I mean, her profile. If you click her name in the episode notes, you can see her profile, and all those shows are listed for you. So you can catch one of those, because she'll be in DC at some point. She's doing a Dangerously Delicious Pies show coming up in October, which is fun. If you haven't been to eat a delicious pie and catch music out on 8th Street, that's another fun thing.
It's the best idea
basically, I love her message, and I love she's very, positivity is kind of her thing. Positivity in the face of negativity is about so many topics. I mean, she just does so much. But that said, I also really enjoy her music. So I love the fact that you brought Heather May with you today. So we'll kick it off. We'll finish it right here. We'll bring it home. Heather May, this is the track, I Am Enough.
DC Music Rocks.
I've spent too many decades hiding beneath the covers, covering up my curves, clothe myself in black. But this body wants some glitter, this body wants a night. Gonna put my hands up, 'cause I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. My body is not wrong, my body is not shameful. If you don't like what you see, well, turn around, turn around. 'Cause I'm dancing just for me, for this body I am grateful. If you don't like what you see, well, turn around, turn around, turn around. I've got scars to prove that I've been through the battle of believing that there's beauty in flaws. But it's time to meet the voices that keep telling me to change. I'm through apologizing for looking this way. So I'm lifting up my skirt, but I'm showing up a little late. Let me tell you who I love. Gonna put my hands up, 'cause I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. My body is not wrong, my body is not shameful. If you don't like what you see, well, turn around, turn around. 'Cause I'm dancing just for me, for this body I am grateful. If you don't like what you see, well, turn around, turn around, turn around. Beautifully broken. My body is not shameful. Perfectly imperfect. If you don't like what you see, turn around, turn around. My body is not wrong. Beautifully broken. My body is not shameful. Perfectly imperfect. If you don't like what you see, turn around, turn around. Turn around. My body is not wrong, my body is not shameful. If you don't like what you see, well, turn around, turn around. 'Cause I'm dancing just for me, for this body I am grateful. If you don't like what you see, well, turn around, turn around. My body is not wrong, my body is not shameful. If you don't like what you see, well, turn around, turn around. I'm dancing just for me, for this body I am grateful. If you don't like what you see, well, turn around, turn around, turn around, turn around.
Thank you so much for listening to DC Music Rocks. Useful links and information about this episode can be found on the website dcmusicrocks.com. Tune in, jam on, rock out.